To be honest, I have no idea how to really wear this. I think it goes somewhere here and then behind your head, and then make a knot. Like this. Is this correct? I have no idea. I probably look super silly, but so what? I look a bit like someone from The Handmaid's Tale. Blessed be the fruit. Or maybe I just wear it as a dog bandana. Like this. Not working. Too big. But still the color looks quite pretty on me. Hey there, and welcome to the Totally FILET Crochet channel. My name's Thomas, and last Saturday it was really late. I got a message from Heather from Strings and Threads, and she sent me a picture of the current status, which you can see here. And she was trying to make the granny with 12 skulls. She took my pattern and just went with it, which of course makes me super happy. But she had a question because she had a hard time seeing the skulls on her piece. And I watched the picture. I told her that the best way to make these skulls pop, like I have it here, is by having a good contrast between the yarn color and the background. Here with my black shirt, you can definitely see it. If you would have it like this, it gets a bit more difficult to see it. And then, of course, my recommendation was to always block it, to like make those holes, or how I call them, the pixels, as big as possible and as symmetrical as possible, because that will really help to make the pattern stand out. And right before I wanted to press send to send her my answer, I took a look at her picture again, and then I realized, why is she just making a quarter of the square? So I asked her, Heather, is it on purpose that you're just doing a quarter? Or are you just missing the 3 following sides? And her answer was that she was trying to make a triangle hair bandana with my pattern, this one here. And of course, this got me curious. Will this pattern work as a triangle hair bandana? And there was only one way how to check this, if this is possible. I grabbed some yarn and a crochet hook and just made this. I hope you can see it. Here the contrast is nice, so you can definitely also see the skull. And by changing the sides and making them closed in a certain way, it was possible to make the triangle. First, my pattern inspired Heather. Now, her idea inspired me for this video. Because in this video, I'm going to show you how to make a skull hair bandana with my skull pattern. Of course, I updated the PDF, which you can find in the description below, to match to the bandana. And there's also some blue parts in here that represent the super clean border of the triangle bandana. But I will explain, of course, everything in the video. And I think it just turned out so cute. And of course, this would be something to dress to impress for Halloween this year by wearing this. Of course, I won't wear it, but who knows, maybe someone else like Heather wants to wear this for Halloween this year. And now you can make yourself one. And by the way, please check out Heather's channel. She posted a video, which I also linked in my community tab, where she's talking about her inspiration journey with the skulls. And now here's my take on it, or how I would call it, the skullspiration, because it really was a skullspiration. By now she made a few more items like hats with the skulls. And in my case, the Skullspiration took its turn by making this fun little LED light with the skull in front. I think it's super fun and it's super easy, and it shows that with just one pattern and one idea you can create so many other things. But first, let's start with the bandana. Don't worry if it says left-handed here. You have two PDFs, one for lefties like me and one for everyone else. So let's go. So to start, make sure to download the PDF. So later on when I mirror the screen so I can post the right-handed version, don't get confused when all the numbers and letters are reversed. So by looking at this, here you can see the blue border, which is the main difference to the other PDF, because the blue border represents the straight side of our triangle bandana, because of course when you would use this as a quarter of the square, then it would go all along. And here you can also see we start again with the magic ring, and then we always have, depending on where we start, a chain 4 in the beginning or a final double crochet and a chain in the end of each row before then turning, but I will explain that in the first few rounds, which I'm going to do with you together. And I was lucky to still have one skein of my orange yarn left, so I'm just going to use that. And as a crochet hook, I'm going to use a 4mm hook. These companies really should write the millimeters in a way that you can actually read it, because here you almost can't read it. But it's 4mm. And as I mentioned before, we start with a magic ring. So I will do it like I used to do it, making a slip knot, almost closing it, pulling the end yarn through, then closing the knot, and here I have my magic ring. And now let's take a look. We start right here. Our first stitch would be a fake double crochet or a stacked single crochet, then a chain 1, then a full granny square cluster with 3 double crochets, then again a chain 1 and a final double crochet. So let's start with the fake double crochet first. So I go in the ring and do as if I would do a single crochet, and then I go into the front loop right here, grab the yarn, pull it through, 2 loops on my hook, and then yarn over and pull through both of the loops to stand for my first stitch. Of course, you can just make a chain 3, or since we have to do one chain after that, make a chain 4. You can do that in the first round. It's absolutely okay to do so. I personally prefer the fake double crochet. Then we yarn over and start the cluster of 3 double crochets, all in the magic ring. 1, 2, and 3, and chain 1 again, and our last stitch for this first row, so it goes quite fast, is just another double crochet. And here we have it. So the fake double crochet, a chain 1, 3 double crochets, chain 1, and a last double crochet. Looks like a wedding ring. And now I'm not going to close the ring just yet. We can just leave it there as is, because now we are going to turn our work. And now we are right here in row 2, and this one starts with a chain 4. So we go up, and then the first 3 chain elements represent basically a double crochet, a side double crochet. Then the chain 1 is the space in between all of our squarish shapes here, or how I call them, the pixels of the filet crochet. And then we can continue with our stitches, and row 2 is an empty row, so we just have double crochets and chain spaces in between. So we start by chaining 4, so 1, 2, 3, and 4, and then we yarn over and we place our very first double crochet in that same space where we were, basically the top of our last double crochet from row number 1, and we just place it in there, and then we have a chain 1 again, and then here we have our cluster of 3 double crochets, so we will place the next double crochet on top of the first one, and then we chain 1, and then yarn over and make a double crochet into the top of our third double crochet, then we chain 1 again, and then we place a double crochet into the top of our fake double crochet, or if you did it with a chain, then you would place it in the third chain element from the bottom, like that. Then we chain 1 again, yarn over, and then we go directly into the same stitch like we had it before, the top of the fake double crochet, and make our final double crochet in there. Let's see. The 3 middle spaces here are basically our 3 pixels, our 3 squares here. Then here we have one corner, and here's the other corner. And row 2 is done. So let's turn your work. The next round is another empty round. So we do the exact same thing. So we chain 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Then we yarn over, then we go back into the same stitch, like this. Now, what in the previous round has been like this triangle corner here will become a full pixel or a full empty square. So you would chain 1, and then we yarn over, and then we go into that top of the previous double crochet, and then again chain 1 and in the top. I will now also always try to like take that third loop from here, from the top, mainly because I think it makes the stitches a bit stronger when they are stacked on top of each other. And as you can see here, the top right here, the V, is the top stitch, so you can always like just go through underneath those 2 loops, or you go a bit sideways, and here's the other one, this one here, and just take this with you for a little bit more tightness. And here you can also see that the squares or the pixels get a bit more refined, but that's really just a personal thing. It's absolutely fine to just go through the top 2 loops and chain 1. Here's our next. Chain 1. And here was our chain 4. And we will yarn over and we will go in the third chain element. So here's the first, the second, here's the third, and we will go right in there. I'm trying to like go in there under both of the loops and finish the double crochet. And then again we reach the corner, so we chain one and then yarn over, and then we go back into the same stitch and finish row 3. So we are always increasing. Here we had 3, now we have 5 plus the 2 corner stitches. Then we can turn already, and again we start with a chain 4, then yarn over, and then we go directly into the same stitch again, like this. Then chain 1. Now it gets easy because now we see where we are. Here's this, then chain 1, then we have 3 full squares, so we yarn over and then we go in the chain space in between, and then in the top of the next double crochet. And in the next chain space, in the next double crochet, in the next chain space, and in the next double crochet. And then we chain 1, then make a double crochet on top of the next, chain 1. Now we have again our chain 4. Here's the third stitch. It's really just important that you leave this one chain element here from our chain 4, because that of course creates then the additional square on each side. Then chain 1, yarn over, and then we go directly into the same stitch again to create the next corner. And as you can see, you get like a straight line on both sides, and the pattern starts in the center, and your chin is already done from the first skull. And this is basically how you do it. So you turn your work, start again, chain 4, go into the corner stitch, and from there just follow along. So now we have 2 empty squares. So chain 1, and here's the first one, chain 1, here's the second one, and then we have 1 full square. So we make a double crochet into the chain space, or into the chain 1, and then closing it by making a double crochet after that. Then we have 3 open ones, so chain 1, skip 1 stitch, and go down, chain 1, skip 1, chain 1, and skip 1, before we then have another full one. So yarn over, go underneath the 2 loops from the chain 1 from the previous row, and close that square with a double crochet, and the rest is just double crochets on top of the previous double crochets. Now we create the extra one by making a double crochet into the third chain element from the previous round, and then chain 1 and make another double crochet into the same space. And here we go. It's kind of funny that it really is that easy. I never thought it would be, but it works exactly the same way, and it works super, super fast. I mean, now we are already at row number 6, and let's continue. I will meet you once I'm done up here, and then I will show you how to directly go over to the border, and then we make the strap, attach it to our work. And if you want to, you can also close the magic ring. I will just leave it like this a little bit longer. And what you can always do is to like stretch it here and on the other side a little bit, just so that the tension is already there. But I think you can already see how beautiful and easy this really works, as long as you be careful in terms of adding the corner spaces accordingly. But I know you can do it. So see you in a bit. So I am at the end of round 19. Here's how it looks. I really can't believe how easy this was. So I'm really happy that Heather from Strings and Threads had the idea to use the pattern as a triangle bandana, and now we can start directly with the little border, and this goes pretty simple. We chain 3, and then we go into our corner space and we just slip stitch in it. Then we chain 3 again, and then we can always go into the stitches that we had in the corner like this to create this little wavy border. Then again chain 3. Here we have now a bigger corner space, so we just go in there and slip stitch, and then again chain 3. And watch out for that stitch, which is right here, and slip stitch and chain 3. So you get like this really cute and simple wavy border, and we just continue along all along our triangle bandana. For that, I would also recommend you to, if you haven't already, close the magic ring, and I'll meet you once I'm done, until I reach right here, because here we won't do the border, because here we are going to connect then later on the strap. And have fun, and I'll see you in a bit. So I reached the end. I just made the second to last slip stitch and then the last chain 3. And remember to always watch out for that third chain element, because this is of course then the final stitch, so don't miss it. And here I will make my last slip stitch. One final note for the bottom. With our beginning, I chained 5 instead of 3, mainly so that I can go from one side directly to the next side. And otherwise I would have to find some stitch here, but of course this is the end, or the beginning with the magic ring, so I just chained 5. But I think this little roughly border is just fine for the bandana. And now we can yarn over again and cut the yarn. And now we are going to make a strap, so that later on you can wrap it around your head and tie it together underneath your hair, basically. And after that we are done, and I will try to incorporate this yarn end already. And for this last one, I think I'm just going to sew that in, so it's out of my way. And then it is out of my way. To be honest, if you don't want to block it, you definitely don't have to block it. I think it looks quite pretty. And once we added the strap on top, I think it will give it a little bit more balance as well. What you can also do is to put it like this and then pull it over and then just drag on it a little bit, so you get like really the shape. But anyway, I'm going to block it afterwards, just so that all the lines are symmetrical. So for the strap, I'm taking, I still have a little bit of my yarn skein left, which is perfect. So it's a 1 skein project. And for the strap, I will do it very easily by making a slip knot. And then I'm going to just chain. Don't ask me how many. Make it dependent on how big or small your head is and how much of a strap you need. Okay, so now I have 50. I just hope this is a number that would fit. And now I will go into the last stitch, the same place, and I will just pull the yarn through. And what I'm going to do to connect it is to make single crochets like that. And then I will basically go from stitch to stitch and single crochet along, always keeping that yarn end in between so I can sew that in. And by the way, sorry for the snoring again. Holly had 2 big walkies today, so she's pretty tired. And this was the last one. And now, since we made a chain of 50 in the beginning, I will just make a chain of 50 in the end. I just cut the yarn, pull the yarn through, and stretch it out a little bit. And I will also cut the yarn end a bit smaller. And this was basically it. As you can see, it flats out quite nicely already. I'm really not sure if I would actually need to block it, but I will just do it, and then your triangle skulls bandana is done. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed our little Skullspiration crochet tutorial. And I hope to see you back again next time, only at the Totally Fierce Crochet channel. And of course, if you have any additional ideas about any of my designs, or you need some help or support to understand things, don't hesitate to send me an email. I wrote down my email address in the description. I'm always happy to hear from you, or if you want to share your finished projects with me, please do so. This always makes me super happy. So thank you again for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye!